So unit three, activity one, what does it take to protect the Earth? So now we're sort of in this unit where basically we're looking at how planet Earth responds to human activity. And depending on who you believe, most of the scientists think that the Earth is in a rough state right now, whereas politicians, many of them are referring to the Earth as basically being just fine. So we're in a really tough situation, as the politicians in general tend to control the money and the decisions that are made, not the scientists. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Earth in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and what our life is like on this planet that we sort of keep having a great impact on. So here it looks at the Earth and a sort of a health checkup, and how many people are here and how big we are, and basically knowing that we're basically in a time known as Anthropocene, which is a term that shows how humans are the largest driving force of environmental change. This is the most recent period of geological time that is known to us. So this is a cool little interactive here. So if you click on this, it'll take you to a map. And then on that map, you can click on different locations in the world. And it gives you an example of an activity that's occurring in that location. And then what you're going to do is you're going to think about what would that activity do, or how would it relate to all these different questions. So in this case, what is the technological achievement that's being used, if any, at the location? And is the Earth better or worse based on the activity that's happening there? And then in this case, how are you connected to the event? So maybe it might be somewhere else in the world, but the product that they're creating or what they're doing to the Earth is something that you depend on and that you purchase. So there's often a connection, even though it's happening in other parts of the world, to us and what we're doing. So again, it could be that, or also it could be what would the negative impact be of that occurring on our planet, and then how that impact you. So how's it affecting the environment, the climate, the atmosphere, those types of things. So again, even though it's a long ways away, you're thinking about how could that be connected to you. Then think about what you could do to reduce negative impacts that these locations are having on the health of Earth. And then what direct or far-reaching effect might this activity have on the natural processes or natural hazards? So you're trying to link what's going on to potential natural processes and hazards. And then basically you'll decide what is the Earth's health checkup in the form of letter grade. And then you'll include a short rationale for your choice. There are some sample answers for these, so you can see sort of how they've been answered, so that you're then able to create your own. So for one of the locations that's found on this map up here, you will complete these questions and you'll submit your answers in this discussion right here. Then moving on, it's looking at sustainability and stewardship, and sort of what is the difference between both of these. You'll notice there's a definition for sustainability here and stewardship there. They are then going to talk about the fact that you really can't have one without the other. So you have to be sort of focusing on both of these things. Things need to be sustainable while at the same time looking to preserve. So if you click on this more button, it'll describe this in a bit more detail for you. And then it gets into the idea of sustainability. So there's a document here you can use to record your answers. And they'll be based on the information that you'll see in the maps and the text for each one of these locations here. So that's what's going to be used then to complete that template document. It'll then be submitted to that Dropbox right there. And then the final consolidation piece is this organizer. So you're basically going to download the organizer, which looks like this. And what you're doing is you're looking for something that occurs in the world that has a low impact. So it shows sustainability and stewardship. Something that has a high impact, which means there's no consideration for sustainability and stewardship, and then some moderate impact, which means that it's in some way sustainable or showing stewardship, but it's missing the mark of being both at the same time. So it's one or the other or both. And you'll end up finding one example of each. You're going to find a sort of a one that fits for the level of sustainability and level of stewardship that fits into those locations. What you're then going to do with that is on your own graph is there's an example right here. Is you're going to figure out what your examples are, and then you're going to add that information, all right, to these different grid items here. So again, they went back to that original map that's up here, and they clicked on a variety of different things. Sorry, this map right here. So they clicked on this, and they went to a variety of different locations. When this map opened, they randomly went through, and they were clicking on the various dots that were on there that gave them information, and then they were picking those in terms of the impact they thought that they would be having, right, to then include in that. So it could come from here, or it could be something completely different that you can think of that you can add. But in the end, you're going to need to complete an organizer that looks just like this, without these being the actual ones you're using. And then make sure you submit that to the Dropbox. And again, part 3 is looking at connecting these to different hazards, all right? So different things that would occur, natural disasters or hazards, and how they could impact those in the future. Once that's done, please submit that to the Dropbox.